Alright, our final section is on annuities, and with the Annuity Calculator you'll see that an annuity is a type of savings device or savings plan where you make a regular contribution. In this case we will be looking at monthly contributions with the assumption that the person is saving up for a retirement or so on. It's a good way for you to save money over a long term while still not having to have a large amount of money to start with, but you can build up slowly as you go along. So if you take a look at the situation here, you'll see that the balance is increasing very slowly in terms of interest, but it gets larger as you add a bigger contribution each time. So every time they add an extra 100 Rand, they are getting more interest. So after 12 months, the initial payments would have been 1,200, but we would have 1,239 Rand and 72 cents as the final balance in this account. Now, this example goes for 25 years, and so we are going to get up to 300 months. So after 25 years of paying 100 Rand a month, you will see that we get to just less than 70,000 Rand that's been saved, which is a reasonable amount in consideration to the fact that they would have only have put in about 30,000 Rand. So they are getting a fairly good return on this. The most common sort of question that you would be given with an annuity like this would be that you'd be given the contributions and one of the balances would be missing, or the interest would not be there, and so you would have to figure out what the interest would be in between the two. As you can see, if I just highlight these two here, the difference between those two is more than 100 Rand because of the 100 Rand plus the interest that we have there. Alright, so if we take a look, we have got 109 Rand and 94 cents as our difference between the two. So obviously 9 Rand 94 was the interest, and the additional 100 Rand came from the contribution that was made. These are fairly straightforward if you practice them. So let's just jump onto an Annuity Calculator. Alright, now with the Annuity Calculator, this is really just for you to play around and see what could happen in the long run. You've got your different options. You can change your rate, your contribution, how long you're putting it in for, in terms of how often you're going to be putting the money into the annuity, the number of years, and also the number of months, so you can switch that around. The table goes up for 300 periods, so 25 years. You can always refer back to the table to confirm whether or not that amount of money would be right. So if I was to change my number of years from 20 to 2, we would see that we have 15,335 Rand and 47 cents. And if I went to 24 months here on the table, you would have exactly the same amount there. So the table is working it out automatically to 300 months, whereas the calculator will give you the exact amount according to the table. Obviously we can go to a much longer sort of time the person is contributing, and you can just play around with the different interest rates, etc., to see how much one would be able to save over these various periods of time. Anyway, I hope that this is helpful. If you have any questions, please do not forget to ask.